All right, guys, hope you're doing spectacular. Today we're going to be talking about money and how money works and what money does and who makes money and all that different stuff. That actually is pretty much what we're talking about all week. We're going to be talking about money in some shape or form, whether it be currency conversion, banking, etc., etc. I hope you guys are doing super well. Friendly reminder, we're approaching the end of the school year, guys, so make sure you're getting your assignments in on time. Make sure you finish the year strong, etc., etc., etc. Let's get right to it. Look at all of this money. I mean, look at it. It's got money to the left, you got money to the right. Oh my word, look, this guy is literally in a money shower. Like, who knew it could literally shower many, many dollar bills? And oh wow, look at that money to let oh it's little hearts and that person probably on the right needs help because they're buried in money. That could be a really bad paper cut. And wow, look, that's like a mountain of money right there. And we even got that's foreign money, that's Indian money right there. That's so cool. And who got the money tree right there? Like, who got that money tree? I want to be able to shovel money from my lawn. Come on. And oh, look, it's a little baby. What is that baby doing with all of that money? Babies don't need that much money. I mean, come on. Why is the baby got? Okay, let's. Ugh, my voice hurts. But what is money? Have you ever sat down and asked the question of what money truly is? What gives it the value you see it as? Why do people care so much about the dollar bills? Well, you're in luck, because that's what we're going to be talking about today. First, let's talk about what money is, like literally is. Today, the United States dollar notes are made from cotton fiber papers. So money is a form of paper, like literally, it's paper. The cotton fiber part gives it a little bit more durability compared to paper you use to write down your notes. Coins, on the other hand, are things that are minted from various types of metals. Example being like the penny, although it's kind of changed over the years. It started out as like pure copper. Now it's 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper. Saves a little bit money. Still keeps the color. You just don't see the zinc underneath it. Fun fact, it actually cost the U.S. government more money to make the penny than what the penny is actually worth. Anywho, you got like nickels, which are worth 5 cents. Oddly enough, there's more copper found in a nickel today than there is in a penny. There's 75% copper and 25% nickel, which gives it the color you see, and then underneath the surface is copper. Then you have dimes, which is weirdly, there's more metals in a nickel than there is in a dime, but yet a dime is worth double a nickel. Dimes are 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel. Logically, you'd think the coin that has more metal would be the one that's worth more, but I digress. And then you got the quarters, and you got a million other coins as well, but let's just stick with the major four. They use the same mixture as dimes. They're just a lot bigger than dimes. This begs the question, what gives this money its value? Because in theory, shouldn't the nickel be worth more than the dime? There's a lot more metal in the nickel than there is the dime. And as far as value-wise, nickel's the most expensive metal of the three metals used in our coins per pound, and zinc is the least expensive of the three. Why are some coins that have more metal in them worth less than other coins? And also, let's be completely real. Paper money has absolutely no metal in it, which means it is probably the worthless when it comes to materials. So shouldn't it be worth less than the coins? Normally, I'd show you guys a whole chart in my classroom that literally goes through all these things, but I'm just going to stick with one just for time's sake. It costs the United States government 14.3 cents in materials when it comes to the ink, the cotton fiber paper, etc., to print a $100 bill. But yet a $100 bill is worth $100. Why is currency like the $100 bill worth $100 if it only costs 14 cents to make? And why is like some currencies like in Zimbabwe where it has a much bigger number, that's a 100 trillion Zimbabwe dollars here. Normally I'd show you I have Zimbabwe currency in the trillions, but we're not in the classroom, so c'est la vie. But Mr. Shoens, you could just get on the webcam and show us the money, right? Yeah, I have no idea where it is. It's in my attic somewhere. I don't want to fight the spiders. Anywho, what gives money its value? At the end of the day, money is just simply a promise. It's a piece of paper created by a government with the promise that it is worth X amount of dollars. In reality, if we were looking at money for face value, if we were looking at it from the materials it costs to make it, money wouldn't be worth the value we give it. It only costs 14 cents to make a $100 bill. It only costs about 11 cents to make this $10 bill. Money is worth something because our government says it's worth something. Take a look at the side of the note of this $10 bill. It says there, this note is legal tender for all debts, public and private. Money has its value because the government gives it its value. If we were going based upon materials used to make that money, a $100 bill should be worth 14 cents. But the reality is the strength of the promise of the United States is what gives it its value. So with that being established, we know what money is. It's a promise. What can money do? And we're going to be exploring this momentarily. Well, money can do three things. One, it's a medium of exchange. Two, it's a standard of value. And three, a store of value. More on this in a second. Here's your first fill-in-the-blank answers for your note packet. By the way, you're taking a bunch of notes this week and you're turning it in at the end on Friday, so make sure you're keeping up with this, even though I'm not collecting it every single day. Anywho, moving on. So the first thing money is a medium of exchange. What does that technically mean, a medium of exchange? Well, money is something that we all agree upon that we would be willing to receive in a form of payment. For example, if I have bread, I could sell that bread for money and then use that bread or that money to buy something I want, which would be the meat at that point right there. So instead of me trading bread for meat, which would make absolutely no sense, I can use that money as a medium, as like a bridge towards the exchange. Suppose there was a situation in the world where there was absolutely no money. What would people use to exchange for their goods or services with each other? Do they exchange good for good? Well, what if one good is more valuable than the other? So, example being, suppose you are a farmer and you want to buy some corn seeds to plant because you want to make corn, which corn makes a lot of delicious things. When you find someone with corn seeds to sell, you would have to barter with them if you didn't have money. Bartering is simply exchanging goods and services for goods and services, so there wouldn't be any money at that point. It also can be negotiating, but that's another discussion. So what would you do? Suppose you offer a horse in exchange for some seeds. Well, a horse is worth much more than the seeds that you're trying to buy. Do you cut up the horse into little tiny horse pieces and give like one half of the horse in exchange of the seeds? Well, that would be a problem because then the horse would be absolutely useless at that point. You see how inconvenient it would be if we were trading goods and services straight up for goods and services? That's the medium aspect. Money is something we all agree that we'll be willing to take because we know we can spend it elsewhere and other people will also take it. People that sell things are willing to take money because they can ultimately turn around and spend it on the things that they ultimately want slash need. There are your notes for the medium of exchange aspect. Now, the second thing that money can do is it is a standard of value. Money gives us an idea of just how valuable an object can be. Here's an example for you guys. I've listed three things and what they are worth. We have an iPhone, which is about 1,000 USD. We have a gallon of milk, which is around $3. And we have a new sports car, which is worth about $25,000. Now, with that being said, how much are these worth compared to minimum wage? Well, you already did a worksheet on this, your value of a dollar worksheet, so you would already know what you need to do. You would divide it by minimum wage. Then you would find out that the iPhone is worth approximately 121 hours of labor. The milk is worth approximately 20 minutes. And the new sports car would be about 3,030 hours of labor. Which one is more valuable? You see how money gives us an idea of which one is more valuable because we see the cost of an object and we see how much it would take to get said object. And obviously you're going to work harder towards stuff that are more valuable. Here is your notes on money being a standard of value. Now our last one, a store of value. Not a store as in a place you go to buy and sell things, more of a store like as in storage. Money can store our value for the future. When people choose not to spend their money, they save it. Meaning, in the future, that money will still function the same by allowing you to buy goods and services just sometime in the future. I'll give you an example. Suppose you had $3,000 that you intend on keeping for the future, and you're thinking, what can I use this $3,000 for? And in the future, I can use that to get my $3,000 back. Do you put all that money in a bank or maybe under your mattress if you don't trust the bank, like Mr. Krabs from SpongeBob? Or do you go out and buy 1,000 gallons of milk, which are worth $3 each? In theory, 1,000 gallons of milk is worth $3,000, but in reality, milk has a shelf life. In about a month, all of your gallons of milk will literally be spoiled. Like, literally, that's what happens. And literally this on the right where we have a very spoiled milk. However, if you have a $2 bill from 1970, it'll still be worth $2 in 2020. You see the store of value? Money is something that can kind of transcend the timeline. It's not a perishable good, and it can store its value. Now, it's not necessarily wise to just store money itself. I mean, that's why people invest in stocks and other things and houses and all that stuff. But just in general, money is a storage of value. There are your notes for money being a storage of value. And I think that's good enough for today when it comes to starting out about talking about what money is, being that it's just simply a promise. Otherwise, it's a piece of paper. If that government's not that powerful, if that government is lying, then that is just simply a piece of paper. And then what money can do with the three things. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about how banks work, and you guys will actually be learning a life skill tomorrow, so stay tuned.